Welcome to the video. This video kind of shifted gears and changed shape as I kind of talked. It became more of a history about myself more than anything else. But I still think it's a good watch, honestly. Um, Towards the end, I kind of talk about more myself and the present. Um, I would go to like 30 minutes of this video is just kind of build up to that. So I'm not gonna timestamp it because I'm lazy, but you can go find it. um, I hope you enjoy the video, and thanks for clicking. I guess thanks for sticking around. Uh, yeah, enjoy. Rocket League is a weird game for me. I've been playing this game for several years. It's been a long time now, um, and I've had my ups and I've had my downs, and I don't really know where I stand with this game now. I just watched Zapatos's retirement announcement video. I swear he's announced he's retiring like 4 times, but he made um, a video about how he's retiring, how it's impacted him and such, and it inspired me to talk about how I feel about the game because I relate to a lot of the things he said in that video in ways that I didn't even think anyone else felt. Um, so I think it'd be good for me to get my feelings out about this game. This is completely impromptu. I don't have notes. I don't have anything to base it off of, just what I'm experiencing, what I'm feeling. So, how do I feel about this game right now? Well, a few weeks ago, I hit 2K. That was kind of like the goal. When I hit SSL, I was like, okay, just hit my goal. Let's hit 2K. And hit 2K. So, I'm not nearly as good as Zapatos. Zapatos has always been and will forever be better than me, even if he doesn't play, right? He's just has so much more time on the game. He had so much more grind, and I don't. There's just no way for me to catch up, right? um, I'm 19 now. Um, I'm taking college classes. I just had my first year at Huntington, which went not great, not ideal for sure. But I need to kind of separate myself from this game, I feel, because this game has such a grasp on me in so many ways that I didn't really think about fully until I watched Zapatos talk about it. It made me realize like how kind of reliant I am on this game at times. So I'd like to change that, and I don't know. I just want to kind of talk about it for a little bit. So I'm 2K. Um, Before 2K, the goal was SSL, and I had a big grind from like GC1 to SSL. That was my big grind. But even before that, I played some extras just as for like GC. Um, and even before that, I just played pretty much for fun. Before that, before I even came to the game in free to play, uh, I had liked the game when I was like 9 years old. My dad saw it on the PlayStation Store when we had our PS4, and he was like, "Oh, I think Jake would like this," because I like soccer, I like cars, car soccer, makes sense, right? And I started playing, and I loved it, but I was so emotionally bound to games at the time. I didn't put into perspective how video games mean nothing, right? Like, especially when you're 9, right? Like, they don't really actually mean anything. Like, I thought they did. I thought they had meaning, and I thought that was kind of like, the competitive aspect just kind of was important, but it wasn't really. And that's hard for a 9-year-old to grasp. So there were a lot of times where I would rage. I would literally scream in the room where I played Rocket League. My brother would literally tell me, like, dude, you gotta stop screaming, bro. You're actually causing chaos in the family. You need to knock it off, calm down. And he's only 2 years older than me. He was 11, I guess, 11 to 12. Um, and I ended up getting grounded from Rocket League because I snuck out not out, but I snuck out of my room in the middle of the night, at like 3 in the morning in my old house in Pennsylvania, and I played, and my dogs heard me, and they ratted me out to my parents. So yeah, I got grounded for a while. They were not happy. I did eventually get my video game privileges back, but they were like, no, no Rocket League. So that's how that was from, I don't know, when did that happen? That must have been 2017. So 2017, 2016, something or other, I got grounded for like a year. And I did eventually get video game privileges back, but, no Rocket League. And after a while, it kind of settled into, just video games, more video games. I didn't really like school. I was fine at school at that time. Like, I was actually a good student because it came easy, right? And it wasn't difficult. It just was like, okay, do the homework, yeah, right? So that's what I did. I did the homework and I did all the things I needed to do for that because it was like elementary school. I don't know, it came easy. Fast forward a few years, starting to get my video game privileges back, building them up. Still, I didn't even mention Rocket League, right? I was horrified of mentioning Rocket League to my parents because they were gonna get reminded about how I snuck out, and they're gonna lose trust in me, and then they're gonna take my games away because I'm thinking about Rocket League, and then so I never even mention it. But I think about it, like, occasionally, not really super often, but, like, once every month, every couple months, I'm like, wow, Rocket League, that was fun. That was a good time. Had fond memories of, opening crates and stuff. Good memories of, clipping out of bounds in Double Goal, when Rocket Labs came out. All fun stuff, but, yeah, eventually I did find myself on Rocket League for the first time in years. It was at my friend's house, actually. We were in his basement at a lake house, and Rocket League. I was like, wow, I just realized that I hadn't played this game in forever. So I hopped on, and I literally right then, that's when the addiction started. Right then. I remember it so well because I queued a tournament. I don't remember if it was a 2v2 or 3v3 tournament, but I was like, I was talking to him, I wanted to hang out with him. It was late at night, probably like midnight-ish, which for us, that was late. This was like, for context, this is like 2020. This was like 2020, 2021, maybe? And I just had so much fun. It was like, I just remembered how fun it was. I was like, what, I can just play and not tell my parents. So I didn't tell my parents that I played Rocket League. Eventually, I got it on my Switch. I downloaded it on my Switch, played a little bit. I think I was like plat, maybe. And then I got a laptop. And that is what changed everything. I got a laptop. The first thing I thought of was Geometry Dash. Geometry Dash is probably like, okay, secondary game, right? I have Rocket League, that's my primary. Geometry Dash is my secondary. But at the time, it was my primary. So I played some Geometry Dash, and then I was like, hey, I should get Rocket League. And then I played Rocket League. And at the time, I had screen time limits, and it was like, a few hours, not screen time, but Wi-Fi limits. So my laptop would only be connected to the internet for a certain amount of time before disconnecting, kicking me off. I wouldn't be able to play at all online, but I could still play offline, and that's where I trained my pinches. I got into pinching pretty early on because I like Pulsefire. I watched a lot of Fire vids, the car series, pinch challenges, and I wanted to be just like him, That's where you're on screen right now. This preset, that decal is something that Fire used, and I loved it so much that I just adopted it. I like it. It's fun. It's a goofy, silly little preset. But that's completely coincidence. I didn't plan that. I'm just picking out random replays to play. But yeah, I don't know. I liked pinches. I liked all that, so I just kept grinding them and grinding them. Started with Cuxer pinches. Eventually, I got good at ground pinches. Um, I was the pinch guy, and then I started working into flip resets and stuff, and general mechanics, freestyly kind of mechanics. I really enjoyed. Um, that was my super big interest in this game for a while. Um, Now this is kind of the point where I'm more attached to season numbers than dates. Because I can tell you that in season 9, no, sorry, season 10, I hit GC in hoops. That was my first ever GC. And I know I'm skipping some stuff like, yeah, wow, I thought you were, you were plat diamond on your Switch, and now you're GC in hoops. Yeah, I played a little too, as I was like champ or so. Um, but I don't really remember a lot about how I felt about that. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of conflicting with some weird times in my life, so I don't really have like the best memory. But it all kind of jumbles together in my brain, so I don't really have much to say about it. But I know in season 10 I hit GC in hoops, and I thought it was the funniest thing. Because GC had been like a goal, kind of. Like, I was like, I want to hit GC. But I wasn't super passionate about it. I was like, yeah, I kind of I want to hit GC. Not that I'm going to put in a bunch of effort to do so, but GC was a goal. And then I got it in hoops, and then I got it in Rumble the same season, and I got my rewards and my title. Season 10 is the next season, and season 11 is the next season. I hit GC in twos for the first time. Um, I was hyped, pretty happy about it. Um, and I kind of just sat there for a while. I didn't really super grind at all or anything because I was like, well, GC's the end goal. Uh, Not really. I actually had made my goal SSL. I was like, man, I want to hit SSL. That'd be so cool. Um, but it was kind of like a minor thing, and I hit GC and like I had seen a bunch of videos of like how long this is, how many hours it takes to hit SSL, and I was like 5,000 hours. I can't do that. Um, but I got so addicted to this game in such a short time that I just started playing. Um, I started playing more twos. I still played a lot of extra modes with friends and stuff. Eventually, my goal was GC and everything. I did that except for I don't know. I think Snowding and ones or something. Um, I was pretty happy about that. But then Vessel came up. Vessel is a high school esports league. High school esports and STEM league. It is awesome. Unfortunately, there's no funding this season, so they're not running it this season. But that was what was coming up for me. And I was like a sophomore, I think. One of the most important things about this is that they were offering coaching. They had like designated coaches to, you could book a session with the coaches, get one-on-one, help, get the whole team together for a coaching session, whatever. So shout out Squiddo was my first ever coach with Vessel, and he taught me a lot. He taught me so much. Like I was like looking back, I was a really bad player. Like I kind of was one of those people that just like sped around the field the whole game and just like spam mechanics. That's all that I did, and it kind of just worked at that point in the game. Um, that's pretty much what I did. Squiddo changed that. He taught me boost rotations and slowing down, and I don't need to be flipping around the field the whole game, etc., etc. And with his coaching, I realized that my potential was way higher than I thought it was. I was like 1400p, 1450 maybe, and just within like a season of him coaching me, I got up to like 1550. I was like a couple games off GC2. I was so excited. Um, and so come around the next few seasons, I'm grinding and grinding. I do eventually get GC2. It's actually it's the next season, but it's in like the beginning of the season I get GC2, which is pretty cool. Um, then the next season I get like 1600, 1650 maybe, something like that. And then the next season at GC3, you know, I'm just racking in the ranks at this point. So I'm GC3, and I'm like, well, if this pattern continues, I'm hitting SSL next season. Not quite how it went. I hit 1800, and then I fell. Pretty bad. It was like I fell down to like 1680 or something by the end of that season. It wasn't pretty by any means, but it is what it is, right? Hit 1800, and at this point, I'm kind of feeling weird about the game, because I'm still grinding Vessel. I'd actually won Fall States in 2024. That was really cool. That's when I was like 1760 peak, maybe something like that. And I thought that was really good. So I kept working on it, kept working on my game, kept booking as many coaching sessions as I could. Although Squid was no longer my coach, I had Mittens, the goat. He was with Vessel for a while, and he taught me a lot of mechanical stuff. More so how to be efficient with my mechanics instead of just being super flashy and doing like freestyle mechanics. It was more so about boost conservation and not having to, you know, air roll for every single touch. It just makes it more consistent, etc. And yeah, through him, I learned a lot. I learned a lot through both Squid and Mittens that without them, I don't think I would have improved as much. Not even close. I don't even know if I would have kept up the grind for SSL. But at this point, the goal was SSL before high school ends, right? And it's kind of my last season to do it because it's January, start a new season. Previous season I hit 1800, and it's like, well, this is kind of the last season, because if I don't hit it this season, then I have to hit it next season, but like midway through, because school's gonna end, and the season ends in like June, but my school ends kind of earlier than that. It ends in like April, May, so I gotta lock in. February of that year, worst. At that point, it was one of the worst months of my life. It generally felt like nothing would go my way the whole time. And the last day of February, I ate Catapult on like a 7-game win streak up to SSL. It was phenomenal. I streamed the whole thing. It was amazing. I cried. I ran downstairs to my parents. I hit SSL. I was like so happy. And it really, I felt so satisfied that I kind of came from being an extra modes burger where I'm just like nobody, to real proper SSL2s player. It felt amazing that I kind of just proved people wrong, because everyone, you know, everyone kind of just trash talked me. They were like, you're never anyone, right? You're a burger. You're terrible. And it showed that I had more potential than that. So, where was I? Where am I going with this? At SSL next season, 1930. Great. That is where things take a turn for the worse. This whole time, I kind of have like ADHD. You know, I just kind of have ADHD. And so I'm taking, you know, medication for it. But I'm going off to college. I'm going to Huntington College, which is in Alabama. And we figured, other than, you know, changing a bunch of prescription stuff and having to get like a big flipping bottle of pills for me to take, I would just try and rough it out, just without my medication. Horrible mistake. The worst decision I could have made. Because I get to school and I'm, you know, at first I'm doing all right. I'm like, you know, it's college. It's just like school too. It's like a high school too, cooler edition. But very quickly falls into depression, lack of motivation, social isolation, really bad things. And I can't focus on anything the entire time. That's more than just schoolwork. That's Rocket League, because I was on the esports team. That's Rocket League. I couldn't properly focus. I felt like, you know, I was just like letting everybody down because I was underperforming every single series. But I trudged through it. It was definitely the, I don't want to say definitely, but it's probably one of the worst school years I've had. Uh, the first semester was alright, ended with alright grades. Second semester, no. I had a D in a class, and that's just not acceptable for me. Um, I know I can do a lot better than that. But I was so worried about just being bad at Rocket League because I would play twos and keep this is kind of when bot season hit like entered. Um, Actually, the first bot season I hit SSL like middle of the season and then I just plummeted. I literally just tanked so hard. Um, so I kind of had this like feeling of like I'm not good enough, right? I showed up once SSL like once or twice, but now it's just over, right? It's just over for me. Um, I'm not good enough. I clearly am not consistent enough of a player. I can't do it, and I wanted 2K, but I was like, I don't know if I can do 2K. Um, I didn't believe in myself at that time. I really kind of thought it was over. I'd still tell people things like, if you believe in yourself, you can do anything. And I believe that for other people, but for myself, I didn't think it. So it felt wrong. So this entire time, I'm battling with like depression and just like lack of self-confidence and stuff, and it's just it it sucks. It's really bad for just me in general. Obviously, my mental health is trash, so uh, it's just kind of it just feels chopped. Like I don't know. It felt so bad. Um, I literally called my parents once, like towards the end of the first semester. I was like, dude, I can't do it here. I need to come home. And they were like, just tough out the next semester, which was the worst decision I could have. Once again, the worst decision I could have made. I think if I just left then, I'd be a lot happier. Even if I just like brought my pills the next semester. Like, I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to just go back again without my medication. But I did. Um, but, anyways. It, this semester ends. I have some of the lowest self-confidence myself I've ever had ever. My dopamine is low-key fried at this point because, like, a lot of the second semester I was just skipping classes and just kind of getting by with literally the bare minimum and everything. Um, including Rocket League, including classes, including even relationships at that point. I was really slacking on, keeping up with some of my friends, and that still lingers to this day. There's still some friends that I just like because it was hard for me to like interact with them back then, it's still hard for me to interact with them now. Not because I don't like them, it just feels awkward and it feels like I don't deserve the friendship. It's weird, and it's kind of related to Rocket League, but also not really. Um, so let's fast forward to kind of closer to present day. I come home, get immediately first doctor's appointment, Wellbutrin, back on it. I need like I'm not gonna say I need it, but it helps tremendously with everything in my life. It is really like the closest thing to a miracle pill for me. It just makes me happier. It just makes me feel more motivated. I can focus on what I want to focus on instead of being distracted by literally everything. Um, and I'm back. I kind of feel back. I'm like, I'm back. I'm back. I got this. And then I tried to quit the game. uh, I started playing so awful, to a degree that I didn't even know was possible for me. It's because of a few things. I was overplaying. I was putting up too much time, and I was focusing on the wrong things. So my gameplay kind of slowly started to actually get worse. Like genuinely, not even as like a feeling. Like my gameplay started to just get worse. Um, and I was like, you know what? This is it. I'm quitting. I unfriended almost every Rocket League friend on Discord. I uninstalled the game on Epic and Steam. Uh, I completely, like, my Steam name was just Stink Rocket League Retirement because I thought it was over. I'm not gonna play anymore. What I told my friends was I'm gonna give it 2 weeks and I'll see how I feel. And I gave it 2 weeks. I was like, I'll just play ones for now, because a lot of what my problem was with Rocket League is I just have the biggest ego for no reason. I don't deserve the ego. Um, Especially not as like a 1930 peak at the time. I don't deserve that ego, but literally every single game I just like blame teammate. It's teammate's fault. Um, and you know, it's super unhealthy and stunts your development as a player. It it sucks. Having an inflated ego is one of the worst things you can have in this game. Not just for yourself, but for other people. It just makes the game so much more toxic. And this game is already incredibly toxic, honestly. It's, I'd argue, the most. The egos in this game are absurd to insane degrees. And I'm not saying that as a victim. I'm saying that, like, I also know how it feels to have that kind of inflated ego. And how it feels to have it challenged. It kind of hurts. Um, but I don't know. I had such an ego, and I just was like, well, I'm gonna focus on ones. I need to focus on myself. Every game can't be my teammate's fault. If that's true, if I should win every ones game. And I won most of my ones games, but that's because I hadn't queued ones in a long time, so I was like champ ones, so I was playing, you know, people are maybe like GC 1 and 2s. So it wasn't super difficult for me to get back, but yeah, I focused on ones, focused on myself, kind of focused on getting my mechanics back a little bit. I don't know, not too much. Actually, no, not at first. At first, it was almost entirely just like game sense, game sense, game sense, because that's the main thing that mattered, was just like relearning the game. So I played super grounded, super fundamental, and I got back to like high champ 3 or something, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back to 2s for a little bit, or like just extra. I don't remember what I did. I don't remember if I went back to 2s or extra modes first. No, it was 2s. It was 2s, and I don't know why it's 2s. 2s, I was playing so bot-like. Like, I had no mechanics. No mechanics. And it was almost entirely game sense. And I was just winning. Winning and winning and winning and winning. Dude, it was crazy. Like, I catapulted from like 1600 to 1800 in like 3 days after a break, and I was like, dude, this feels good. I haven't felt like this about the game in a hot minute. So it felt amazing. It felt amazing to finally kind of be back, like, for real. I kind of realized this has kind of been like a history of me, if anything, but it's still important to talk about. I'll go through the rest pretty quickly, though. Keep in mind this is all just off the top of my head. Like, I don't have notes or anything. I don't even have, like, things to look at. I'm just watching the games that's on my screen. So I kind of get back into it. And I was like, you know what? I'm back. I'm not gonna quit. I'll stick with it for a while. I ended up getting SSL that season, and it was great. It was pretty cool. It was close to 1900. Never got it. I don't think I really queued that much after I hit SSL. It was mainly other things that I played with friends, or just other games. Fast forward to this season. This season is the season after I quote-unquote quit the game. And it's also the season I hit 2K. So what happened? I focused the hardest I've ever focused on just improving my game. And with that came some self-replay reviews. Like, I always had the hardest time doing self-replay reviews, because in my mind, every game is my teammate's fault. You know, I don't make enough mistakes for it to be considered my fault. Even the goals where I blatantly make a mistake, well, I'm like, well, this guy could have hit the ball, like, he could have gotten a better touch, and it would have gone straight to me, blah, blah, blah. But those are, like, low percent plays, and I'm just not playing for what's likely, and not covering good things. So, yeah, I focus all on that. I try to focus a little bit on mechanics, just trying to, like, you know, feel more comfortable with my car again. And I don't know, it all led up to 2K. Like, I just felt good again. And it felt amazing to get 2K, because I was like, I finally proved myself again. It's been so long. It's literally been a year since I had a peak in 2s. and so I got my new peak, and then I got 2K, and I'm still sitting at 2K. I haven't queued. And this kind of leads into the question a lot of my friends have asked me, which is, are you going to play for 2100, or are you going to play at all anymore? I don't know. This game affects me mentally in indescribable ways. I'll give you an example. I have such a hard time detaching Rocket League from real life to where I will hang out with friends. I'll have a great time, It'll be phenomenal, full of laughter, full of fun, doing new things. I come home, I play Rocket League for an hour, and I lose 20 MMR after playing 15 games. I actually feel like the day's ruined. It's bad. The mental is so attached to Rocket League that any day that I don't perform well in Rocket League feels like a wasted day. And I completely overlook what's actually important. Did I learn anything? Did I have fun with friends? Things like that. And all those games that I'm queuing aren't just me just playing. All those individual games are filled with their own emotions, which almost all of them aren't healthy for me. Especially with the way that I'm toxic to some people, just being you're, terrible, and I'm just you're under me, right? It's not a good mindset at all. But it's just kind of what I've developed over the years, which is not something I'm proud of. I've definitely worked on it, and I'm a bit better now. There's still definitely a lot of room for improvement. There's no way I should be tweaking in hoops, right? It's stupid, but yeah, I could still improve mentally. But it's just such a hard attachment to get rid of. I can't detach from it. That, along with the fact that playing Rocket League, it gave me a sense of accomplishment, right? And so it's kind of hard now to have fun in Rocket League, because when I think of playing Rocket League, I think, oh, I'm getting, I'm going to gain MMR this session. I'm going to, I'm going to work on my mechanics this session. And so it's kind of just a reroll of games or free play sessions until I do something good, until I have a good session or I hit a cool shot, something like that. Then it feels good. Everything else, I'm either completely neutral or I'm tweaking. I'm not having a good time. So that begs the question, is that worth playing for? And I just can't see that answer being yes most of the time. I hope maybe someday in the future I'll get my drive back, and I'll be able to properly focus on myself. I'm the only one that matters in this game. The other teammates and opponents' performance doesn't matter. What can I work on? What are my mistakes? Just need to pretty much unplug my keyboard every time I play this game, I swear. But yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't have the drive for it anymore, I don't think. So will I play more? Maybe. Probably. Almost definitely I'll play in some capacity. I'm not quitting. But don't expect me to, go for 2100 necessarily anytime soon, because I don't know if I can do that to myself. It's too much work on my mental health. It's too much it's very load bearing on my mental health most of the time. And I don't know if it's really worth it. I kind of things I think would be so much different if I had never. I've told this to everyone who I've told them, I got grounded. I genuinely think that if I didn't get grounded for the year, that I would be at least a bubble pro. That's just what I think, because you put it into scale, into perspective. I barely had any hours, and I was I mean, I wasn't crazy, but I had loved the game so much, and eventually I would have gotten into watching RLCS, and I would have wanted to improve and actually get better. I mainly played casually back then. Actually, basically completely played casually. I have a Season 1 bronze crown on my account. Like, because I just didn't really play to, like, competitively. I just play for fun. And then I still tweaked when I was 9. But I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. We'll see. I think part of the reason why I'm feeling this is I don't have, like, a team. I had a team for a while, and they were really fun to play with, but one of them is now competing with their Kalita team, which is totally fine. I respect that, but I miss that team so much. That was, like, some of the most fun I've had playing this game, especially, like, competitively, like, outside of, like, you know, just ranked. Like, in tournaments and stuff, those are the most fun tournaments I've ever played in my life. Because we all felt super passionate. We had a great play style. We meshed together so well. And even when we individually felt like we were not, like, performing, the team was still really good. We all had our days where, like, you know, we felt off, whatever happens, right? One of my teammates felt like he definitely underperformed and he wasn't happy with how he was, like, not treating the team, but, like, he wasn't happy with how he was playing for the team, which I think sucks because he was kind of like the coach of the team. He's so smart about the game. Thankful shout out. You're so smart about the game, and you think about it in such good, like, ways, and you put it so straightforward and explain everything really well. You're a great guy, dude. Great player, great coach. Don't undersell yourself, bro. But yeah, that's kind of most of it. I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, well, another thing. Rocket League's taken priority over things that it should not have priority over, right? Like, in college, like at Huntingdon, I played Rocket League. That's kind of my identity, is like, I'm good at Rocket League. That's been my identity for a while, and it's not good. I'd like to change that. I want to have a personality and an identity more than just, I'm a Rocket League 2K. I'm a Rocket League coach, you know, etc. I'm a former, you know, rank 1 action role player. Like, who cares, right? That doesn't matter. What matters is the experiences that I've had. Like, and, you know, the things I'm learning in school, that's what matters. And, like, I've always sucked at school. I think I'm a terrible student nowadays. Just because a lot of it's so disinteresting to me, but it's just, you know, you gotta do it. But I don't know, I kind of feel like I just need to put myself out there more. And right now I'm actually in the search for a job again for the billionth time, because both jobs that I had before are now gone because one of them is closing permanently and the other didn't get funding this year. Shout out Vessel. So looking for a new job. But with that, actually, is another thing I was gonna, like, talk about, but I didn't. Is that it really, like, in the game I have a massive ego, but outside of the game, when I take a step back, I feel so, like, I feel so bad about myself as a person. I sell myself short all the time, and I know that I'm better than that, and I do have capabilities and I do have talents and such, but I don't know, bro. I feel so not confident in myself. In conclusion, am I quitting the game? No. Will I still play? Definitely. Um, I don't, I don't know. That's pretty much all I can say for certain. Um, I'll definitely still be around, and I'll love coaching friends. You know, any of my friends that want to, if you're watching this video, you're probably a close friend, and I'll probably just give you free replay review. I don't care. Or just, if you want to hang out in VC and I can just give you some pointers, whatever. I've got a lot of experience. I've been on several lands now. I've, you know, 2K, you know, whatever. I feel like I have a decent amount of experience. Not the most, but I've also gained some really good knowledge from a lot of people over the years. So, yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it. I want to give some special thanks to First of all, everyone in AUG, love you guys. You guys are kind of the reason I'm even passionate about the game anymore. It's because you guys kind of brought me up a little bit. I love hanging out with all you guys. Love you to death, even if I tweak out in Rocket League sometimes. Yeah, all you guys, you're awesome. Thanks for the support. Um, Shout out Cole. Cole, you're my goat. You're my first like Vessel teammate. Um, I had played for the team in a different league years before, but you're my first like friend or teammate who really actually was passionate enough to do coaching sessions and such with me. Um, and I felt good. You know, we were both improving at the same time at different rates, but you know, it felt good to have someone who cared about the game as much as me. Also, shout out for just being a good friend in general and going rock climbing with me. That's awesome. Let's see. Who else we want to shout out? Shout out Triangle Box. Triangle Box, you are like probably the oldest Rocket League friend I have. Like close Rocket League friend I have. So while you're like stupid as hell sometimes, and I will like if I'm in like VC and I'm like playing and I'm like not having a good time and then you say some like autistic stuff, I'm just like, bro, shut up. I love you to death, bro. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for being like a uh what was I gonna say? Um Something about presets. Thank you for being a preset nerd with me and like an item nerd. Cause love nerding out about that stuff still. Years later, even though I only use like the same 4 cars now, you know, whatever. Any other big shouts off the top of my head? Shout out everyone from Esports Legends. You guys are amazing. Gassing me up. That was the team that I played for Vessel. We were the homeschooled kids, pretty much. Is there anyone else? Shout out my Huntington College teammates, actually. Cbis and I don't know, Jackson. Ooh, sorry, Jackson. You two are goats, especially. I mean, Cbis, you're also a goat. Love playing with you. I'm sorry you had to deal with the Huntington College version of me. But thank you, Jackson, for teaching me so much about this game and kind of keeping me passionate, even when things seemed rough. You always found a way to kind of make me believe in myself again, even if you didn't believe in yourself. Even if Huntington, you know, wasn't the best experience for either of us, I definitely gained a lot. So, thank you for that. Is there anyone else? Oh, shout out everyone in Special Server. Similar to AUG, you guys kept me passionate. You guys maybe enjoyed the game a lot. So, shout out everyone. And I mean everybody in there. Like, literally, even the people who don't talk in there. Thank you for just, like, you know, existing enough in the first place to be invited, you know. Shows that I, like, you know, respect you a lot. Enjoy you enough to have you in that server. It's very awesome. Thank you to everyone who's ever supported me on, you know, streaming, just in ranked. Anyone who's believed in me. Shout out Seba. Seba's a big supporter, big Rocket League yapper. Love talking to Seba. Shout out my parents. Kind of, they were really not supportive of all the esports stuff at first, but then eventually they kind of fell in love with it a little bit. Not fell in love with it, but they support now, so it's cool. And then lastly, shout out to Ellen. You're just, I love you. Kind of kept me in the game for a while. Kept me in life too for a long time. Through self-doubt, through, you know, all those things, you kept me afloat, so thank you very much. Those are just the thoughts I had. I'm not gonna edit this at all. I'm just gonna like trim the clips where I'm like trying to change the replay. But yeah, I'm just gonna put this up. Whoever wants to watch it can watch it. Second monitor content, whatever. I don't care. I don't know why I'm saying that at the end of the video, but yeah, that's all. That's all I got. So See you guys. Thank you all.